I'll be very quick. I just thought of presenting 4 slides that I presented in Porto Alegre last week about the dynamical systems approach and why it's so appropriate, or why biologists love it, and why it's so good to explain motor development. And we have to go back to one of my earlier slides yesterday and ask ourselves whether development is a teleological process, a process steered by a plan. And then we talked about the nativists, the interactionists, and the empiricists, who all said that yes, development is a teleological process, and the developmental plan, according to the nativists, is residing in the genes of the animal or the baby. According to the empiricists, the developmental plan needs to be learned through experience, and so on and so forth. And the interactionists make this combination of inborn schemata and learned traits. And then we have the dynamical systems approach to motor development that says that instead of identifying the developmental driving forces either within the environment or within the individual, the process of self-organization is treated as the outcome of cooperative interaction between subsystems within an overall system that encompasses both infant and environment. And that's exactly what Renate said. You know, the brain is part of this system, environmental, motivational things, muscle strength in the child. The brain is there, but it's not hierarchical. The brain is not more important than all the other subsystems that play a role in pushing motor development forward, but they work together through the process of self-organization. And that is a crucial concept in dynamical systems theory. And then we see this, instead of the puppet being steered from the outside, you have order and organization from within the system. And that is Ilya Prigozhin, who wrote a book many years ago, and it was republished fairly recently as one of the pioneers of science, Order Out of Chaos. So they applied dynamical systems theory to both to predict the weather, to build chemical clocks, and to, for instance, describe motor development. So order and pattern formation are not due to specific prescriptions, whether innate or learned, from instances external to the system, but emerge spontaneously from within the system itself through the interactions of its individual parts without specific interference from organizing centers. So that's what I said earlier. You know, the dynamical systems consist of many, many subsystems, and all the subsystems together make order out of chaos, or make development occur. So, self-organization can be defined at very many levels, and the individual parts of the systems can be molecules, can be atoms, they can be neurons, but they can also be individuals in a society. Bill Warren is now, famous ecological psychology, is doing all these studies with people walking through open places, and they self-organize themselves into, instead of walking chaotically crisscross and bumping into each other, there is self-organization. And the same is true for instance, the order and pattern formation in a vortex in a river. At certain places, the vortex appears in a river. And it's not that something from the outside, God or an external thing, is telling the water molecules to start behaving in this particular manner. But the incoming water, the sand in the riverbank, the stones, the water plants, together, and none of the subsystems is more important than any of the other systems, but together they cause the vortex to occur, or the vortex emerges in the river. And I found a really nice example of self-organization with a murmuration of starlings. Here we have birds flying, and a really nice Dutch song accompanying and now they're flying rather chaotically, and then suddenly order arises out of the chaos, and they start producing these beautiful patterns. And it's nothing from the outside telling each individual bird to fly in this particular way, but together they show pattern formation. And to apply it to motor coordination, von Holst in the 1930s, a physiologist, he worked with the centipede, who has 100 legs or more. I don't think they're exactly 100, but they're called centipedes. And when all the legs are there, these animals, they walk with their legs 1/7 out of phase, like this. And what von Holst did was that he amputated leg pairs until only 3 pairs were left. So 3 legs on either side of the centipede's body. And what did he observe? The animal started walking like a 6-legged insect. And then he amputated 2 more, and the animal started walking like a quadruped. And it's unlikely that somewhere in its tiny pea brain, this animal has stored motor programs that allow it to walk, to locomote with 6 or 4 legs in case a crazy physiologist comes along and starts amputating his legs. It's more likely that the evolutionary solution to walking with 6 or 4 legs or 2 legs is the solution that is found this is the most stable way of locomoting with 6 legs or 4 legs, and that's what evolution has encountered, and that's why these animals are walking the way they do. So it has nothing to do with, you know, external steering, but it's the dynamical solution to a locomotor problem of walking with 6 or 4 legs. Well, that's all I wanted to say.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Well, I think this is just the best time to finish and to think about. Well, I would like to thank Audrey, Ruth, who came here to the São Paulo. They came to they had another engagement, and they were very happy to come here to give lectures and to spend all this time together with us. So I thank you very much.